You're listening to The Ride to Work with Pastor Fred. Fuel for your faith before you clock in. Enjoy the ride.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for the ride to work today. I'm so very happy that you decided to cruise with us as we're on our way to make that pay. Listen, tune in as often as you like every day. The episodes are loaded. You can go back over them. You go back through the whole entire library, starting from day one, ride one if you like. And man, there was a lot of good stuff. Good stuff. I was going back and listening to some of the old ones, the earlier messages and the earlier rides. Man, just for reference sake. And there is some good stuff in there. So please feel free. And again, as I always say, well, I don't say all the time, but every now and then I'll just tell you to tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell somebody you like, tell somebody you love, tell somebody you're not that fond of. Tell them we ride each and every day, Monday through Friday, and even sometimes on Saturday. So this week started the discussion about being overwhelmed. That's the series title and topic, Overwhelmed. And it just stemmed from a conversation I was having with someone at church this past Sunday. And it sparked this Ride to Work series, Overwhelmed. And yesterday we dealt with and we talked about being overwhelmed by responsibility. Today, I want us to focus a little more inward. Today, I want to talk about being overwhelmed by emotions. Emotions. Man, look, this is, I want you to tune in, listen real closely as we deal with this today. Because a lot of us, we pretty much don't really know how to handle our emotions. And the character reference that this deals with, just to put it out there on the record, it's about self-control. Self-control. We're putting out a character reference for each ride each morning. And yesterday it was wisdom. Today we're talking about self-control, overwhelmed by our emotions. So as I stated, we want to look inward because sometimes I realize, and some of you may realize, like the heaviest load you carry is not on the outside, it's on the inside. It's what you feel. It's what you think. It's what you replay. It's the things that you can't seem to quiet down. It just bothers you so much. And if responsibility, like we talked about yesterday, if responsibility overwhelms the schedule, things that we're trying to carry that we shouldn't even be trying to. If responsibility, being overwhelmed by responsibility does that, then emotions overwhelms the soul. Ride with us this morning. Ride with us. I need you to understand that emotions, they'll overwhelm the soul. There are a lot of people that get so caught up. I mean, I've said it time and time again. We are what I call a sensual society. Sensual society. We are ruled by what we feel. We are. If we feel a certain way, we go a certain way. So that's why the very first thing I want to tell you, look, don't let feelings become your leader. Don't let feelings, what you feel, lead you all the time. Look, feelings are real. They are. But feelings aren't always right. Think about it. They're not always right, and they're definitely not always permanent. You can feel one way one day and feel a certain way or a completely different way the next. Look, if you make every decision based on how you feel in the moment, think about this now. What'll happen is you will eventually start building the life that you no longer can even recognize. You won't, because feelings change faster than wisdom does. They change faster. Look, there's a scripture in Proverbs. I think it's around the 4th chapter. I think it's very befitting. It says something like, guard your heart with all diligence. Guard your heart with all diligence. Please hear me when I say that. I think it's Proverbs. Matter of fact, I want to make sure because I want you to get that. I want you to get that. Guard your heart with all diligence. Proverbs, I know it's around the fourth chapter. I know it is. I know it is. Hold up. Let me look. 23. That's it. That's it. Fourth chapter, the 23rd verse. It says, guard your heart with all diligence, meaning be protective. When you hear that word guard, that means be protective. Not just as far as what's coming at you, but what you're putting out as well. You're to guard that. Think about it. I mean, we a lot of us, we're emotional creatures, and some, let's be honest, a little bit more emotional, or I like to say dramatic than others, right? We know some people like that. There's some things that they can take the simplest thing, the smallest thing, and make so much drama out of it. So much, just build this whole problematic situation off something so minor because they're ruled completely by their emotions. By their emotions. And we cannot let our feelings lead us. We can't. Oh, go with what you feel. That's what they say, man. If you feel it, do it. Man, come on. You don't go down that road because if you, I just told you, if you make every decision based off of how you feel, at some point, you won't even know who you are. You won't even know who you are. I mean, and you got to understand when it talks about guarding your heart. I mean, it's like a warning. That's basically what it's like a warning. Because when you look at that, and it also says, look, because out of it flows what? The issues of life. That's where it comes from, the issues of life. Out of it flows. It's like a warning. Protect your inner person. Your thoughts, your motives, your desires, your values, your spiritual condition. That's what it's talking about. And I need you to understand that your heart is the center of who you are. Please, I need, man, I really need you to understand that. I don't know if you've ever looked at it like that, but that's your command center. A lot of people think it's your brain, and I get it. No, your heart is at the center of who you are. So you got to understand, even when you're dealing with this, because I got this saying on my door at work, with my inner door, for me to look at. For me to see. It's not for my guys to see, it's for me to see. And I put it, and it's right there where I can just turn my head real quick, and it's right there to remind me, because I have to keep reminding myself, look, my emotions are signals, not supervisors. They're just signals. I can't let my feelings lead me, regardless of how things are going, regardless of how work is going, who said this, who's doing this, who's acting this way, who's not responding, who's not doing what they're. Man, my emotions, they're just signals. When I feel a certain way about it, it's just a signal. But it doesn't supervise me. It doesn't lead me. And I need you to understand that. Because people don't always treat you right. People don't always do what you need to do. And if you let the way that makes you feel lead the decisions that you make concerning them or how you run your life, you'll be unrecognizable to your own self. So understand that. Understand that. Get that in your mind. Just say that. I don't know. Maybe you should get something or write it down real big or print it out. Put it on your refrigerator, in your bathroom mirror, wherever you can see it. Look, my emotions are signals, not supervisors. I'm not led by what I feel. They just signal me as far as how I feel. Think about it. Point number two. Point number two. Look, get this. Now I'm gonna say this as clear as I possibly can, because this happens a lot. Look, process what you feel before you release what you do. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to think about that because there's a lot of, I'll just speak personally on my own self where I've not done that. That's why I can speak on it, because in some situations I've not done that. I've not processed what I feel before I acted. I just went with what I felt. And a lot of damage is not caused by what we feel, it's caused by what we do without processing what we feel. A lot of damage is done. Did we think about the end result? Did we think about how this would affect not only who what's going on myself, but other people? Did I process how this would affect my family, my husband, my wife? Did I process how this would affect my children? Huh? When I put that crazy post on Facebook or on Instagram, I put that crazy action I did on TikTok and all that, did I process how that would look to my professional job, my church members? Huh? Process what you feel before you release what you do. I get it. You can't ignore emotions and expect them to disappear. You can't. You can't do it. They're there. They don't disappear. You know what happens? You know what they do? They redirect themselves into reactions. Your reactions. That's what they do. That's what they do. Go in your kitchen. Well, you can't go in your kitchen now because you're on your way to work. But some of you, if you have this, a pressure cooker in your kitchen, a pressure cooker, a pressure cooker, you know what happens. At some point, that pressure cooker is going to release steam one way or another. Steam gonna come out. Because if it's not released properly, it finds another way to get out. That's what emotions do. It's going to find a way to get out. So you have to be diligent. That's why it says guard your heart. Keep your heart. Protect your inner self. Because they're going to find a way to be released. They are. So you got to understand that. They just redirect themselves into your reactions. That's what they do. Some of the stuff that you've done, you look back and you say, why did I do that? Huh? Those are just emotions that got redirected into your actions or your reactions. I didn't know it would go that far because you were just led by what you felt and you're making a decision on what you felt. And you didn't process. You didn't process it through all the way before just acting on it. Huh? Because what you don't process will eventually process you. It will. Think about that. That's what'll happen. Third thing I need you to understand, look. When I wrote this down, I laughed because I had to, it convicted my own self. Learn the power of pause. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. Learn the power of pause. Not every emotion deserves an immediate response. They don't. They don't. Some of them require silence before you speak. Take a moment. Take a moment. Reflect before you react. Take a moment. Just be still for a moment. Huh? Mature yourself. And I always use this illustration or this example because it's just so befitting when I always talk about thermometers and thermostats. Today we're talking about a thermostat. A while back we talked about a thermometer. But today I'm just talking about a thermostat. It does not react to temperature. It regulates the temperature. That's maturity. That's maturity. I told you, we're not reactionary people. We're going to be responsive people. We respond. We regulate the temperature in the room. We regulate the atmosphere in whatever setting we in. That's what we do. Atmosphere is very important. In churches, at work, in your social settings, somebody can come in or whatever, and you're having a jovial time, and somebody can come in with their face all twisted up with a bad attitude and mess up the whole atmosphere. Atmosphere is important. So you be the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set it. You regulate what happens in your life. You regulate what happens in your home. You regulate what happens on your job, in your office, in your cubicle. You regulate what happens in your truck, in your cab, in your Uber, Lyft, whatever. You regulate what happens in your kitchen. You regulate what happens when you come to church. You regulate what happens, how this service is going to go for you this day. You regulate how this day is going to go for you. When you wake up and you got a negative attitude, I guarantee your day gonna be negative. It is. But if you decide I'm going to wake up, I'm going to have a positive day, I'm going to be great, I'm going to smile, I'm not going to let nothing get me down, I'm going to set the tone. That's maturity. That's what that is. I need you to understand that. Learn the power of pause. That's maturity. Maturity is the ability to pause before you respond. Learn the power of pause. Just hit pause. Nope. Just like that. Just hit it. Overwhelmed by our emotions. Our emotions, we do. They get the best of us sometimes. I get it. I get it. I get it. And then people will add to it. People will enhance what you're feeling, so much so because they want to see you move the way they want you to move. Come on, you ever had those people that they'll sit and they'll goad you up? They'll goad you up. They'll say, man, I wouldn't take that. How do you already feeling like you want to do something? You're already feeling like you want to say something. You're already feeling like you want to jump. You're feeling froggy, all this other stuff. You're already feeling that way. And then you just got some people that really just fuels that emotional state that you're in because they want you to move. Hey, God, man, like they want you to. That's how they want you to move. Because they want to see, they want to experience. And a lot of them will push you out there and stand back and just watch. I know what I'm talking about. Hit the pause. Just pause for a moment. All right. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to stop right there because I'm about to get overwhelmed. We'll be riding again tomorrow. Till then, have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, and God bless.